When you learn to tell a great story, you will get more sales because more people will connect with you, they'll like you, they'll trust you, and eventually they'll hire you. Learning how to tell a great story is an art. And I'm going to tell you one about an experience I had this weekend. I actually went to a workshop in Minnesota where I learned storytelling and influence, and I'm going to share some of those learnings with you because this is so simple. We're all overlooking it. And if you make some little shifts, your business can absolutely transform. What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 293. God damn. 293 of the Massive Agent Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Something crazy. So, we're almost at 300 episodes. We're on track to break 1 million downloads by the end of this year. So we're at like 891,000 total downloads. And if we keep going at this rate, sometime December-ish, we'll hit 1 million downloads, which is amazing. When I first started this podcast, 5.5 years ago, I never thought one day I'm going to get 1 million downloads. I mean, I didn't think that it was impossible, but I didn't really have that as a goal. I just wanted to have a show and have it grow, and I didn't think that far ahead. And so it's crazy to see what happens, what can happen when you do something consistently for 5.5 years. And I thank you for that, because without you guys listening, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't, be having the impact that we're having on agents, on our industry, and it's really cool, really heavy. So thank you guys. You can help me in this journey to 1 million. Obviously, we just need to reach more people. Something that you can do that's so simple and so easy. If you haven't yet, grab your phone, open up whatever podcast player you're listening, and hit subscribe. Just simply subscribe to the show. It makes your life a hell of a lot easier because you don't have to remember we have a new episode every Thursday. It automatically downloads it and sends you a notification. And then if you've already subscribed, you could leave us a quick rating or review, especially on Apple, especially on Spotify, wherever you're listening. They may or may not have the ability to review, but if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please leave us a review. Let us know. Let me know what you love about the show. What was your favorite episode? What were your takeaways? And that review helps the algorithm, the podcast algorithm, share this podcast with new people that don't know about it yet. It's just like when you have a great engaging post on social and a lot of people are engaging with your stuff, the Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whoever, they're going to show that to more new people that don't know you yet. So help us out, leave us a review, subscribe if you haven't yet, and let's get on with it. If you are new, welcome. My name is Dustin Brohm, your host. I'm an agent of about 12 plus years in Salt Lake City, Utah. And this episode today, I want to tell you a couple stories. I want to illustrate a few points, and I'm really going to tell you about an experience I had this last weekend at a training that I went to, a workshop that I went to in Minnesota. I went to I went to the Amplify workshop that Rene Rodriguez does. And if you guys don't know Rene Rodriguez, you should. He's absolutely exploded on social media over the last year. The last 12 months, he's exploded. I think he has 100 and something thousand followers on Instagram. He just reached 1 million followers on TikTok. But what's crazy is he just figured out the social media formula, the substance of what he teaches, persuasion and influence and communication and storytelling. He is one of the best in the world. And I got to see that firsthand this weekend in Minneapolis, and it was impressive to say the least. I'd never been there before to Minneapolis, so I didn't. I was there just for this conference. So it's kind of crazy. I arrived in Minneapolis earlier on a Friday. The event didn't start until dinner time, like 5 or 6 later that night. And I remember getting to the hotel super early, and I'm like, okay, I have like 6 hours or 8 hours. What the hell? I'm hungry. So I just start wandering around Minneapolis, and I find this taco shop here's what's crazy. Minneapolis has so many sky bridges, like skywalks between buildings. Like you never have to go outside. It's kind of crazy. I've never seen so many skywalks in my life in a city. And I guess because it's freezing freaking cold in the winter and they don't want you to have to go outside. Anyways, so I walk across the sky bridge. I find this little taco shop near the hotel, and they asked, what kind of what kind of sauce do you want? And I love hot sauce. I love spicy shit, but not like crazy 10 out of 10 hot. So usually I'm just like, yeah, give me hot sauce because it's never usually that hot. Well, I didn't specify if I wanted the hot sauce on the side or not. So I said, I want hot. They dumped this giant ladle full of hot sauce on each one of my freaking tacos. And as I bite into it for the first time, all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, this is like level 10 hot. Like this is to the point where my nose is running, my sinuses are open, disgusting, right? And I'm kind of like breathing heavy. I think my heart rate's gone up, but I love this shit. Well, what happens to me is when I eat super spicy stuff, my lips, like the area around my lips, puffs up. Like it gets inflamed and red, and like I have this allergic reaction to super spicy shit. And so naturally my lips puffed up. They puffed up like crazy. And I was talking to my wife like an hour later on the phone. We were FaceTiming, and she took one look at me. She's like, "You've been eating spicy shit, haven't you?" Yes, I have, because of my puffy ass lips that she can see from a mile away. The reason I share that story with you is this. It has nothing to do with business. It has nothing to do with real estate. However, it illustrates a point. This story, you now know something about me you didn't before. You now know an interesting fact. You now know that my lips get all puffy when I eat super spicy stuff. That helps some of you, those of you who give a shit. You now know something personal about me you didn't before, meaning we are more connected than before. That is my point. When you can learn how to tell a story, even has nothing to do with real estate sales, has nothing to do with anything business related, it's just something personal to you, people who are watching your stuff can get to know you better, and they connect with you at a human level. When you learn to tell a great story, you will start to sell so many more homes and attract so many more clients, and your world will open up. Your social media content will perform better. I think I'm a decent storyteller, but I learned this weekend at the Amplify workshop, holy shit, there's so much I don't know. There's so many levels to get better at it and how to structure the story and all the stuff. But one of my biggest takeaways as well is we overthink it. The dumbest, most random story to you may be the thing that someone else connects with you with, and they end up hiring you later on because they first connected while you were sharing what you were buying at the grocery store. You did a little Instagram story where you said, do you like this or that? What's your favorite restaurant, this place or that place? And because you said this place, it was that person's favorite restaurant too. So then they DM you and they're like, oh my gosh, that's cool that you like that restaurant. Have you tried this? Have you tried this dish? Have you ever tried the tacos? Oh yeah, I have. So you connect with something that has nothing to do with real estate at all. You need low barrier to entry content. You need stuff that is so easy for people to engage with. They don't have to think too much about it. No red flags go up. They don't feel like they're being sold to. They don't feel like they're being presented to. It's just like, do you like the square or the rectangle Kleenex boxes? Or maybe you're sharing a story of how you have too many candles in your house because your wife she's a candle hoarder. And so someone else is like, oh my God, my wife's the same way. We have all these candles and we have all these pillows. What the hell do we need them for, right? So you connect over that. You need content like that, because if people aren't connecting with you at a human level, you're really just presenting. If you're never telling stories in your content, if you're not telling stories when you're working with your clients one-on-one so that they can learn a certain concept or get familiar with something, when you're not telling stories, you're just presenting. You're just listing features. You're just listing bullet points. And when you list bullet points and features, no one can connect with it. It's not connect-withable. All right? So learn how to tell better stories, and you're going to get better results from everything you do, with the relationships you have, with your social media content, all of it. That random story about how spicy shit makes my lips get puffy. Some of you are going to remember that. It's crazy how Like I've known this for a long time, but this weekend at the workshop, it made me just hyper aware of the power of the story. I've known that, like, we all know this, right? If you really think about it, we know that stories, you hear it all the time, stories sell. Facts tell and stories sell. Yes, but have you really thought about that? And if you have, like I have just now, you realize, holy shit, because I told a story 2.5 years ago on this podcast about a certain thing, someone remembers it now and they bring it up. Like this happens every once in a while. I'll meet one of you guys, I'll meet one of you guys at an event I go to, and you're like, hey, whatever happened with this thing? And I don't even remember it. Or, hey, that was really cool that your son likes to go hiking. It's really cool that your daughter's in gymnastics. So is mine. And I'm like, how do you even, first off, I always think this, how do you even know that? And then my next reaction is, well, no shit, because I shared it on social media. Of course. It's because I shared what I personally was up to, what was happening. Someone else connected with it and they remember it. If all I did on this podcast was just get on here and say, all right, here's the lesson for the day. Here, let me list a bunch of features. Here's a bunch of reasons you should do this. And I was just presenting all the time, most of you would not feel nearly as connected to the content or to me as you do. That's just a fact. Think about all the brands that you really feel passionate about. Why? Why do you feel passionate about certain brands? It's because the stories that they have told allowed you to connect with the brand. Certain people, certain celebrities, certain influencers, people that you follow on social. Why are you connected with them? Why do you keep watching their stuff? Because the stories they tell, you connect with. Do not overlook this. So in a business setting, first off, your content, just tell more stories. Instead of saying, hey, here's what we can do for you. If you're looking for a house in this area, here's what we can do. Tell a story of you helping someone overcome a certain issue, or they were moving from Raleigh to Salt Lake City and they wanted to move in a certain area, but homes don't come on the market in that area very often. So you had to do X, Y, and Z to find an off-market property. You found it for them. You got them into it. 3 years later, they have $400,000 in equity because of appreciation, and you locked in their interest rate super low because this was years ago. When you tell the story, people remember it. They connect with it, and they'll keep listening. If you just start listing bullet points, people can tune out so easily. When you're telling a story, people engage. They pay attention. You have their attention. So then you can deliver the points that you want to make. You're building influence with those people. Influence is built through a powerful story. And here's what's crazy. Even a lukewarm story can still have a lot of power. You can still have a lot of success and make a lot of progress in your business and in your social media growth and all of it by telling okay stories. You don't have to be this master storyteller. I'm certainly not. It's something that I'm now working on because I see, holy shit, this is the way forward. This is everything. It's storytelling. Once you can embrace that for yourself, you're going to grow like crazy. So in a business setting, rather than telling people what you can do for them, tell stories of when you've done it for someone else. So simple. You can do this in videos. You can do this face-to-face. You can do it in your listing presentations. You can do it in your buyer consultations. If you're trying to explain a certain concept, rather than saying, you know what, it's better to just make the offer than, and not get it than to just sit this one out. Well, okay, they may get that, but what if you told a story of someone that's like, you know what, there's no way I'm going to get this house. There's like 15 other offers. I'm going to do my best, throw my hat in the ring, and let's just keep looking. And then you tell the story of how they actually got the house for whatever reason. Maybe, your client went into backup position, the primary backed out, so then all of a sudden they move into primary and they closed on the house. Or maybe your client's offer was better because of X, Y, and Z, because of the terms. And then you can teach them how terms matters just as much as price, if not more. You can actually teach when you tell a story. It's much harder when you just tell information. Facts tell, stories sell. It's cliche as shit. Whenever I hear that, it usually goes right out the other ear. But being after going through Renee's Amplify workshop, I'm now hyper aware of the power of the story. So it's now front of mind. It's like, oh my God, this is so important. But here's the thing. I learned this weekend that storytelling takes practice. To tell a great story, it takes practice. You need a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? You have the frame, the message, and the tie down. This is a formula that I'm still trying to wrap my head around, but that's the formula to telling a great story or having a great talk. I can't even explain it very well. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Frame, then the message. What is it you're trying to get across? And then tie them down. How do you end it? How do you close it? What do you want them to do with it? That takes practice. And so this workshop, you get put on the spot a lot. The very, very first night we're at dinner and, I'm like, okay, cool. We're having a dinner. And all of a sudden Renee's like, Dustin, would you like to give the toast? And I'm like, oh shit. I was so not prepared. I think I've given one toast in my life at my wedding. Maybe. I don't even remember what I said. I probably blacked out. But in that moment I froze but he made me aware of all the body language that I was, all of the messages that my body language was saying. I learned so many things by being thrown in this super uncomfortable position where I just froze. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. How do you give a toast? What do I even say? It was awful. However, everything good that you have in life, you got through discomfort. Let me say that again. Everything good that you have in life, you got through discomfort. Think about that. It took discomfort. It was hard work to get your real estate license. You had to go through school. You had to go through the training. Maybe you had to take the test more than once. I passed mine the first time. Oh, by the way, like that fucking matters. Some of them, it really doesn't. It's kind of funny how people, like I said it jokingly, but there's actually agents that think it matters that you passed your test the first try. Who gives a shit? I bet some of the worst agents that I've ever worked with probably passed it the first try. And some of the best, maybe it took them 4, 5, 6 times. I don't know, because it doesn't matter. Anyways. But going through the process of getting your license is uncomfortable for a certain period of time. My God, if you're a parent, you get this. Some of the best things in your life were very uncomfortable. You moms, you understand this more than any of us. Childbirth, pregnancy, labor, childbirth. Oh my God, is there anything more uncomfortable? I don't know. For guys, when we get tummy aches, the tummy aches that guys get, much worse, obviously. Jokes aside, that period of extreme discomfort led to probably the best thing in your life, right? If you're a parent. Think about going through school if you have a diploma. I don't. A lot of agents don't. Doesn't fucking matter. But if you do, you went through a period of discomfort to get something worthwhile. If you've had a massive spike in your business because you put in the work and you stuck to social media and you did the content consistently and you followed a certain formula and you got the lighting dialed in and the audio dialed in and the messaging and the hooks and all this stuff, right? Without overthinking it, that period of time was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable until it became comfortable. And that period of discomfort allowed the extreme growth. So learning how to tell stories, or even just being aware that you should, that's going to be uncomfortable for a minute until you figure out how to make it natural. It's worth it. Think about the most influential people in the world. What are they the best at? Telling stories. Politicians, like the ones who get elected that we all hear about and read about and hate, these people got to the level they're at. Like, look, these are wildly successful people. We talk shit about them and hate them for good reason. But if you remove all of the politics from it, they are extremely successful in their field. They had to go through a period of discomfort to get there, of course, but they also became great storytellers. some of the most powerful politicians are the most powerful storytellers because they get you to buy in to a certain concept, a certain ideology. So, another quality of a great story is to not let it linger longer than it has to be. So, you get the point. Tell stories. Go to trainings. My God, I've been so busy this year, and I've invested so much damn money in, let me rephrase that. I've invested quite a bit in trainings, workshop, education, events, masterminds, because that's how you get ahead. That's how you get great success or big results in a shorter period of time, is you go hire the people or get around the people or learn from the people that have already done the thing you're trying to do. What an amazing concept. If you're trying to build a real estate team, or you're trying to get out of sales altogether, or maybe you want to start a restaurant, there are people that have already done that successfully. You can literally just hire those people and they'll give you the blueprint and they'll walk you through it. They will help you accomplish that thing. If you want to get out of sales but still have your income go through the roof, I can walk you through that because I've done it. I know the blueprint. I know what it takes. I know which steps to take in which order. You want to learn how to play the violin? Well, you don't just like, let's figure it out. What do? You take violin lessons from someone who is really freaking good at violin, and they teach you how to do it in a much shorter period of time. How incredible is that? So I would challenge you today. The reason I share that with you is to challenge you to invest more into yourself. And if you think that you're already investing, there's another level. Invest back into yourself and into your growth until it's uncomfortable, until you're like, holy shit, I need to dial this back because, well, do you really need to dial it back? I catch myself thinking that I'm just so busy. I'm putting out so much money for this event and flights and hotels and all the stuff. But I also know that that's what it takes to make 4, 5, 10 times more. The return on investment for investing in yourself is the highest you'll find anywhere. More than any stock, more than any crypto, more than any investment property. Investing in yourself. So I challenge you to find events. Come to Power Day, powerdayevent.com. Here in Salt Lake, we have a hell of a group. We have some ballers coming to our next Power Day on August 25th and 6th in Salt Lake. For God's sakes, come to that. I cannot fathom trying to... I can fathom this because I've been this person. You say you have these goals. You say you're going to get this. You're going to achieve this certain income, the certain lifestyle, the certain number of sales, whatever it may be. Yet you think that you already have all the answers. Now you may. However, someone else knows how to do it a lot faster, a lot better, a lot more efficiently. And you can just hire somebody. It's crazy how we get in this place where we think we can't afford to invest in ourselves. I am here to tell you, as someone who has never been this big top producer dude, I've never sold 100 houses in a year by myself. I haven't sold 1,000 homes in my career. I don't really give a shit. I've been an average agent, and I've still been able to build a massive brand and a business and have one hell of a great lifestyle where I can go push my daughter on the swings at the park in the middle of the day. I can go take my son to lunch at 1 p.m. on a Wednesday. I can do whatever the hell I want because I put in the hard, uncomfortable work for a little while and I followed someone else who had done it. It took me joining their business. I had to actually get up out of my seat, my brokerage, and move to a different one and join with them and then actually get the work done. So I shudder to think if I didn't make those moves because I thought, well, I'm going to take a pay cut for a minute, which I did. I don't know if I can afford that. Can you afford not to? If you're ambitious, I'm only speaking to those of you who want more. Those of you who are ambitious, you have big goals, you want so much more, you want a better lifestyle, you want freedom, you want all the things for you and your family. That's what I'm talking to. If you're comfortable and you're comfortable being comfortable, I'm not really talking to you. You're good. You're already at where you're at and you're maintaining it. No judgment. That's awesome. That's fine. Like, you should only go after what you want. You should also be honest about what you want. So in summary, you'll never actually get to the place you want unless you're willing to invest in the path. You have to invest in the path. If you wanted to build your own car from scratch, imagine trying to do that without like buying a kit or taking a course or watching some videos or hiring someone who's done it before to show you. Imagine just being like, all right, I'm going to build a car with nothing. That's what a lot of you are trying to do with your business. You say you have these goals, yet you're not willing to invest your time and your money to get those things. As soon as you become willing, as soon as you take that step, I promise you the skies open, the world opens, all the opportunities you've been looking for show up, all the people that you've been hoping for show up. And the most important person in that equation, you show up. A better version of yourself, a more confident version of yourself, a more powerful version of yourself shows up. You first have to make an investment, time and money. And usually it's both. So I challenge you to first off, decide what it is you want, define that, and then reverse engineer who already has it, who has that thing, who's already doing that thing, who has the lifestyle that I want, who's already accomplished this thing, and then find out how to get their help. You may have to hire them. You may have to become a business partner of theirs. You may have to go to one of their events or join their mastermind or hire them as a coach. Maybe you can just consume their content. I don't know. It's probably a mix. But do it. Because the best things in life come through discomfort, and sometimes making an investment when you're like, oh, I don't know, that's uncomfortable, isn't it? But if you don't bet on yourself, who the hell will? One of the easiest ways to get around people who are already operating at a much higher level, and so that you can kind of learn through osmosis and have direct access to them and ask questions, is to join BAMX. BAMX is this incredible community of other agents that are all entrepreneurial, all ambitious, and it's full of courses that teach you the skills you need to do all sorts of things, like how to master Instagram, how to grow a huge following on Instagram and actually get business from it, how to overcome objections with your clients, on and on and on. For as little as $10 a month, I think you'd be a fool to not at least join BAMX to make an investment in yourself. If you're like, that's all I can do. Okay, then frickin' do it. Use code MASSIVE at checkout and you'll save even more money. I think you get a 10% discount if you use code MASSIVE. Check out BAMX, one of the most amazing communities of big thinkers and doers in the real estate industry that you want to be around. MassiveAgentPodcast.com/BAMX. Remember to use code MASSIVE at checkout to get a discount. Invest in yourself, for God's sakes, or else you're really not that serious about the things you say you want. You want to have time freedom so you can be around your kids and take them on vacations, and they're learning about the Eiffel Tower in school, and you want to be able to fucking take them to see it. If you're serious, you have to get uncomfortable and make some investments. There's just no way around it. You think there's a secret. You think there's something that the super successful are holding back from you. I'm here to tell you, from all these super wealthy people that I'm fortunate enough to be friends with and connected with, I'm telling you, not only is there no secret, but the only one holding stuff back is you holding shit back from yourself. You are standing in the way, no one else. Thanks for listening. Please share this episode with somebody that you think would get a lot from it. Help us to share the message. Help us to reach 1 million downloads this year. I mean, fucking huge. How awesome is that? Thank you guys. See you next week.